You guys were awesome. And I am learning here as we start to put the agenda for education reform. So I have a quick question for you. There were a couple of options that you presented. One, is it, do you introduce a full syllabus as its own, on its own? Two, do you integrate it in another class? HFLE was one of the areas. And my question to you is, if we were to introduce it as its own with its own syllabus, what would you take out that you're currently learning that you do not find meaningful if you were to replace it? That was one question. Because remember, we are trying to avoid curriculum overload. And both the students and the teachers have told us that if you add more, it will overload them. So if you think this is critical, and I agree with you, what would you take out? That's my first question. The second question, so that you can deal with both at the same time, is we have now introduced a new civics curriculum from September of 2022. It goes first form, second form, third form, for class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and then it goes form 1, form 2, form 3. So all the way from class 1 to your third form year, you do civics. Is it possible that we can stack the learning so that at the end of class 1 in primary school, you have these learnings, these lessons? At the end of class 2, this, so that by the time you complete third form, you have completed the full syllabus without having added anything to your burden. So those are the two questions. Thank you. And we are learning because we will integrate what you are saying into what we are doing with education reform.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Regarding the syllabus for financial literacy, I'm not sure if it was clear, but when you're integrating it into the other subjects, there would be a syllabus, yes, but it's not going to be its own thing, as I said. So this syllabus is going to have a range of topics, for example, budgeting, and you're going to integrate that into the syllabi. For example, I would have mentioned the French project. So, sorry, right, coming up with this syllabus would be an important detail, yeah. Teaching it, I am not sure if I would say that it would be a burden. You were mentioning replacing a subject so that you equal out the workload. What I'm suggesting is that you not replace the subject, rather you change the assignment within that subject. So with the French, right. Thank you. So with the French syllabus, I would have mentioned that the original project would have been simply to create a recipe for croissants. But then I changed that. I altered it, added in budgeting, saying that instead of just creating the recipe or researching and then finding the recipe, you are actually making the croissant. So it's the same amount of time, but you're making the croissant, and now you're incorporating budgeting. So you're learning that. And then that would also translate into the HFLE class. I'm sure that there are some aspects of HFLE. They have to be where finance comes into play, right? So you're incorporating this. And again, syllabus, you're creating a syllabus, finding ways to incorporate it into the other subjects. That would allow you to teach the syllabus using the other classes syllabus. So equaling out the workload, no need to take out another subject. Huh. I will be dangerous, and I will say that if there were a subject that I wanted to take out, it would be HFLE. No, here's the reason. Like my colleague pointed out, and all of you agree, HFLE is seen as a free period. It's almost right, especially first to third time for farm. I would have mentioned to my senior teacher, Mr. Applewhite, that it is only this year that I have actually paid attention in HFLE because this is the only year that I have done anything. And I am fairly sure that many people can agree that that's been the case. In junior school, especially, we do not do anything in HFLE. I don't know whether or not it's a matter of the syllabus. I don't know whether or not it's just not taken seriously. But the reality is, we're not learning much from it. So there's a lot. We're not speaking about the marks for HFLE. The actual content, there isn't much, I mean, from my experience. But what I would say instead, what I would say is that there is a lot to be taught. And I think Emmanuel would have said this. Yes, there's a lot to be taught in HFLE. A problem that may happen, or rather, why I would think that it is not teaching a lot is because of how much it is spread throughout the syllabus. You know, you do it from first term all the way up to sixth. But that then makes me wonder, are we wasting the time? Could that be actually taken from, instead of being first term to sixth, can that be taken from 1 to 3 and get the same amount of information taught? And then the extra space from that syllabus, from that class being taken out from past third form, could that then be used for financial literacy?
Alrighty,